Well, good afternoon everyone. I'm coming at you live from Wisconsin and probably a hair's bit crooked because I got my camera set up on my boat. But I just wanted to do a couple tackle talks while I had some time. I'm going to try not to squint too much because the sun is bearing down on me. But when you have time, you film when you can and do what you must. But wanted to do a couple tackle talks this afternoon, but fresh off my Canada trip, I figured I'd break down some of the things that were working well for us. Obviously this will probably air before the videos themselves because the tackle talks really don't take that long to film and edit compared to like the hours of footage to go through from, you know, a week's long adventure. But I digress. So anyway, I'm going to run down some of these lures that were working really well for us and kind of the space that they were working in, and we'll just kind of go from there. But all right, so start with the twitch program. Through the 6-inch ridge quite a bit in Canada. I got some fresh bite marks, but again, just like with my success on the ridge so far this year, I just keep coming up snake eyes. I caught a couple nice pike with it, but unfortunately couldn't connect on anything real big. I lost something that was either a large pike or maybe a smaller musky on it. I'm not really sure. But again, luck was not with me that day because, of course, the leader got wedged between the front hook and the fish's mouth. So after a couple of head shakes, the fish literally unhooked itself. I've had it happen before. I'm sure it'll happen again. It's just really frustrating. Really frustrating when that kind of stuff happens because I literally have no control over that. It's just how the fish eats it. But I threw this a bunch. There's going to be a really cool video of one pike actually stealing this thing from a muskie, which again, I just can't win with the ridges this year. It's not that they're not working. The error is probably on my part more than anyone else's. Next on the list, we've got the little sister from Chaos Tackle. This is actually not my little sister. This is Taylor Flannery's, who was kind enough to kind of loan this one out to me because I don't have one for my August time in the Northwoods because Connor demanded that I leave the one that was working behind. You know, he was throwing a Lake X one. It kept rolling over on him, and I told him, Connor, you should probably throw that little sister a little bit. And wouldn't you know it, as soon as he picked it up, he caught a muskie. And then he caught another muskie. And then he caught another muskie. And then he caught another muskie. All in a very, very short window of time. I caught one muskie in that time as well. It was one of the craziest windows that I've ever seen in my entire life. But you guys will see that eventually. And that was all in the little sister. I love these things. They're just such a clutch little topwater bait. Yeah, I've caught a lot of fish on, well, I haven't caught a lot of fish on these. I've caught one on these now, but I've guided a lot of muskies on these, and friends of my boat have caught many fish on the little sister as well. Again, trying not to squint. I don't want to put on shades for this. All right, so the next one is the Midusa. We had some luck with that in Canada. This one is the Moosehorn Measles color, show color from last year. It's looking a little worse for wear. We got some bent out hooks. We got some, it's just the harness is coming out. It did its job. It's caught several fish for me, several muskies, and up north a few pike as well. So that was cool. But this guy's looking, he's looking a little rough and probably has earned his retirement. We'll see. He might get called back up in the fall. But where we were having luck with these, if we knew that there were like active fish in an area, we would go to those fish, and then Connor would do a little bit of twitching. He had some luck with a 7-inch slammer, whereas I would just start ripping those weeds with rubber as hard as I could. Turns out the Wisco rubber rip, or whatever you want to call it, I don't know. Some people have a name for it, but I just call it ripping a Medusa through the weeds. Works in Canada too. It didn't work for me last year, but this year, on a couple of tough days, it definitely came through in the clutch. But again, it's one of those techniques that's not always the most efficient thing to do, but if you know where there are fish, it's easy to get something in front of them and just force them into eating. So Midusa, as always, super clutch. Getting into some of the blades, this is one that just absolutely cranked on them for me up there. This is the Droptine Growler, doesn't even have the sticker anymore, but this is the number 8 Droptine Growler. Got a fish on it, you know, caught my biggest pike with it. I don't know if I will ever break that pike. Caught several other pike with it. I think the one day I got a 38-inch pike and a 42-inch pike and then a 36-inch musky. So, you know, this thing did some serious work up there. It was a lot of fun just seeing those fish come unglued. Thatcher had a lot of luck on it on Lake of the Woods when I was with him. They're just an incredible bait. They kick out a vibe that is just unmatched by anything else that's really out there, to be honest with you. So looking forward to sharing that footage with you guys once I get around to it. Continuing on the blade program. Well, kind of the blade program. Oops. The next one that I've got to share is a Musky Candies. This is a snack hammer chatterbait. This thing is huge. I know guys have been doing pretty well on these this year. Chris Willen posted one not that long ago that was just a freaking slob on this. I didn't actually catch any fish on this, but I had several come in pretty hot on it. You know, just a huge chatterbait that calls fish in from a long ways off. I was kind of, we had a couple nice fish located, so I was hoping that something a little bit bigger and more obnoxious might call some attention to them and maybe actually get them to go. But unfortunately not the case. I think I had 2 follow this in the night that I threw it on those fish, but it wasn't the big ones that live there. But really quality bait. They're not very much fun to throw for a very long time, but that's just kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to big baits. Next on the list, in terms of bigger blades, you know, the Dadson program was doing really well. Connor, I don't have that one with me. Connor kept that one too. You know, Connor got a really nice fish right away on a Dadson bigger bladed model, longer scale bladed model. It's very similar to a blade with no name, so I'm just going to show that to you guys. I mean, you've seen them before, you'll see them again, but yeah, so bigger blades, when we had fish located, once again, played a pretty crucial role. We did some searching with bigger blades too, and that's not that we couldn't find fish with those. It was just more of a, like, how long are we going to torture ourselves and burn these big blades in over areas where we're not sure that there's actually any fish congregated. But you know, as always, the Dadsons come in clutch. You guys know the program. It's yeah, when you need a blade bite, throw on a Dadson. That's really all there is to it. Probably the winner of the Canadian trip for me, other than the Growler, it's probably a toss-up between these two right here, the Growler and then the Dadson Bad Egg, courtesy of my very good friend KV. As you can tell, this one is looking a little haggard and worse for wear. It got me my biggest fish in Canada and a couple others. Just a really incredible lure. It's just, you know, it's got an incredible grind to it. KV does an awesome job with these. You know, the fish were coming in on it. It was calling in fish. It was catching fish. Just a ton of fun to be able to throw blades. I caught a couple nice pike with it. But yeah, that's the Bad Egg. This thing has been crushing pretty much everywhere I've been throwing it. I'm really excited to throw it back on my home waters in the fall. I didn't have it in the spring to really chuck on my home waters at all to begin with. Maybe towards the end of May, but I wasn't really doing too much with blades at that time. Not that they wouldn't work, but again, baby Bad Egg, really looking forward to chucking it more. This thing has been calling in some serious fish. It's actually got my biggest muskie so far this year, and it caught me my biggest muskie in Canada as well. So KV, you're the man. Courtesy of Dadson Blade Baits, these things are just killer. So anyway, that's all I got. That was the Canada program. That was pretty much what was working for us up there. I'm trying not to squint too much because the sun is very bright, but you know, you record these when you can. I hope that you guys found that stuff insightful. You know, pretty much when we had fish located, we'd use slower programs like the twitch or rubber, and then to locate fish we'd be using stuff like the bad egg, growler, or top water to find where those active fish might be that we could either return to later or maybe even get a fish to go right away, whether it was morning, evening, or really whenever we were out fishing. So yeah, so that was pretty much what me and Connor rocked in Canada, and Thatcher as well. Just a ton of fun, and really appreciative of the time that I was able to get out with good dudes and fish some of the coolest water in the entire world. So as always, thank you guys for watching. If you'd be so kind, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one. More tackle talks on the way.